Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Let's just take 1 or 2 minutes for others to join. Okay, we have some attendees joining. Let's just wait another minute. I think we can start. Hello, I am Sadaf Aziz, leading digital marketing at Systems Limited, and will be moderating the live webinar organized by Systems Limited and partnered with Microsoft. We are honored to be a part of the exclusive community of Microsoft, which is a highly reputable technology company recognized around the globe for its massive contributions in revolutionizing the digital universe of various organizations. Without further delay, let me introduce you to our speakers. Welcoming Zeeshan Pirzada from Microsoft. Mr. Zeeshan has more than 9 years of experience at Microsoft managing Dynamics partners execution to maximize profitability and market share. From Systems Limited, we have with us Mr. Mudasar Ansari. He is leading the Microsoft Dynamics ERP practice across Pakistan, Middle East, and UK region. Along with him is Ahsan Tufail, who is leading ERP pre-sales across Pakistan and MENA regions. Next. So this session is about how retailers can get actionable insights into real-time inventory across channels, set up, execute, and optimize inventory allocation, order fulfillment, and distribution to better serve the customer expectations. Distributed order management capabilities, industry use case, and a live demonstration will be covered in this session. We will be taking questions at the end of the session, but feel free to add your questions in the Q&A section provided. To begin our session, we have Mr. Zeeshan Pirzada, who will talk about how Microsoft envisions today's business challenges and how Microsoft business applications are helping customers overcome those challenges in these times. Go ahead, Mr. Zeeshan.
Thank you, Sadaf. Hello, everyone. Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon. A bit of introduction about myself. I'm Zeeshan, working at Microsoft since 2012. I'm a business application lead covering Pakistan, Nigeria, and Ghana, a couple of other regions in this MCC territory. So a bit on Microsoft itself. We have presence in Pakistan for over 21 years now. We established our first office in Karachi in 2000, and now we have regional offices in Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad. We generally focus, Microsoft generally focuses on and has improved a lot over the period of time. It was a time when we were relying a lot on Windows and Offices, when almost 80% of the revenue was coming from these two. But over the time, Microsoft has evolved a lot, transformed a lot, and worked on a lot of cloud solutions, which includes Microsoft Business Application, Azure, and modern work. So I'll brief about how in the last 1.5 years, how we are contacting our customer. We are foreseeing the challenges and the challenge that is continuing due to this pandemic. So and by the way, this is the new norm where we are even in contact with our customer. We are giving them the level of satisfaction and customer experience. We are also evolving our organization, improving our products. At the same time, we are also empowering our employees. So next, please. So I'll start with very important to mention, because our mission statement is to empower every person and every organization on this planet to achieve more. And especially in this pandemic time where everyone is seeking some sort of help, and organizations who are not transformed on IT, who are not transformed from technology perspective, has suffered a lot, and now trying to equip them with the right tools in terms of technology. So here are a few things that we need and we believe that a customer should do instead of reacting on what has happened. We need to think out of the box and start doing going for a proactive approach. Similarly, on a view, we generally have multiple systems running in an organization where we have siloed view, incomplete information, incomplete data. Due to this, we cannot make informed decisions. So we have to change our perspective from reactive to proactive, from silo to a connected view where we can have a 360 view of our customer. We can have a holistic data view of what is happening at which store. For example, in the case of in retail industry, we need to keep an eye on our inventory, warehouse, and every store who is performing well and how is it performing. Similarly, on a reporting purposes, we need to also manage our delivery outcomes as well. Next. So we call it I mean, we believe these 4 pillars are very critical. It is a feedback loop where we engage our customers, where we try to engage with our customers from different channels, but we want to give the same experience to them. However, we also at the same time would like to empower our employees, where we really want them to have the right tool so that they can also take the right action, they can perform the right action. We can optimize our operations with the help of solutions again, and by optimizing this operations, we can bring efficiency in our operations and day-to-day operations as well, and increase our employee productivity. And finally, we can transform our products. Either we are a product company or a service industry, we can transform our products. Next. And when we say we really want to do this, we can there is a way we can do this, and that's by Microsoft Dynamics business application, where we have a way we have different solutions that are available and are catered with the for organizations, and there are tailored products. We have the choice to start with what we need. We have the choice to go with the SaaS model, where we really want Microsoft to manage everything, but we can start. And starting point is very critical. Either it's from the classical ERP side or the CRM side, or by optimizing the operation, or by improving the customer experience. So with this, I'll hand over to my colleague Mudasar to take it forward and deep dive on the DOM itself. Feel free to ask if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeeshan. Thank you so much. Hello everyone. This is Mudasar Ansari, working as ERP practice lead at Systems Limited. I'm looking after Microsoft Dynamics ERP delivery across Pakistan, MENA, and UK region. Just want to briefly explain about the services of Systems Limited. Systems Limited is the leading technology company providing top-notch services to retail, FMCG, banking, telco, and public sector organization for last 44 years. Systems Limited Group has expanded the business operations around the globe and has offices in Pakistan, UAE, Qatar, Germany, UK, USA. And we are also expanding in other markets in near future as well. We are helping customers in their digital transformation journey as one-stop technology partner. Whether you want to implement ERP, or you want to build a BI dashboards, predictive analysis, you need to integrate your ERP systems with third-party application. You want to build end-to-end omni-channel experience for your customer, or you want to outsource your complete e-commerce operations. Systems Limited is here to help you. System Limited is having workforce of 6,500 people, and we are growing on daily basis. On average, we are hiring around 100 plus professionals in Pakistan office every month. System Limited is gold partner of Microsoft for ERP, cloud and applications development. We have recently started SAP implementation services as well. In e-commerce, we are partnered with Salesforce and Magento and providing services for Shopify as well. We are also partner of IBM AWS. In recent past, Systems Limited has been recognized by national and international institutions, which includes Forbes Asia Best Under a Billion Company Award. We have won President Top Idea Award and nominated by Pakistan Stock Exchange as top 3 technology company. So this is brief background of the System Limited. Let's move to some other numbers. We are presenting the fast growing e-commerce and retail landscape of the Pakistan. In the current era of pandemic, we have seen that revenue of brick and mortar stores of non-essential products has been greatly reduced due to COVID and lockdown in the different areas of this country. The ultimate choice of retailers to continue the business and consumer to buy the products is through e-commerce channel. Like other region of the world, Pakistan e-commerce industry has grown tremendously in pandemic. According to Pakistan Ministry of Commerce, e-commerce market has posted growth of 35% in first quarter of 2021. 96 billion rupees e-commerce revenue was posted in first quarter of 2021, while 71 billion in same period of 2020 was posted. By reporting a $4 billion revenue for the year 2020, Pakistan has become 46th largest e-commerce market in the world. In terms of e-commerce volume and value, we are now bigger than Greece and Peru. Pakistan e-commerce market is expected to grow with 16% compound annual growth rate till 2024. Around 48 million people, which is 21% of Pakistan populations, are doing online shopping, which will continue to grow in near future. If we look at the category-wise market share, fashion retailers are grabbing the most of the share, which is around 70% of the e-commerce revenue. And then electronics and fashion and personal care is the second number. If you see category-wise year-over-year growth over here, there have been tremendous increase in online ordering of the fashion and beauty, which is around 87.5%. Electronics and media with 67%, and food and personal care with 98%. So we can see a tremendous growth in every category of the e-commerce. So by going through these stats, it is obvious that e-commerce industry is growing, and hence the challenges are also growing. So let's discuss what challenges are being faced by the retailers and what are the solutions. Physical footfall on brick and mortar store has been greatly impacted due to COVID SOPs, lockdown and reduced business hours in the shopping malls. This has ultimately impacted the revenue and profitability of the brick and mortar stores because the fixed cost is continue to incur. This has forced retailers to focus on e-commerce channel to continue with their business. We have seen that most of the top fashion retailers are using centralized warehouse to fulfill e-commerce orders. The advantage of centralized warehouse is to have better control and visibility over the inventory, order fulfillment process, and minimize the out of stock order scenarios. But there are associated cons of having centralized e-commerce fulfillment. When lockdown announced last year in March, we have seen that warehouses which are using to fulfill the e-commerce orders are also stop working. Hence, this become the single point of failure for the entire e-commerce operations. When we are doing delivery from a centralized warehouse, it is taking around 3 to 5 days to deliver the order in remote areas. For example, if retailer are shipping e-commerce order from Karachi to Lahore, it will take around 3 days. And in case of we are shipping the order into the remote area of KPK, it will take more than 5 days. So it has directly impact on the customer experience, the shipping cost, and even if you are taking the return order. So ultimately cost is high. Uh, according to the stats, we have seen that in Pakistan, 80 to 90% orders are cash on delivery in nature. So delay in delivery impact the customer experience, and there are chances that due to delay, customer will not accept the order, and ultimately you will lose the sale, as well as there is a impact on the cash collection cycle because 80 to 90% cash is coming from the cash and delivery orders. Okay, we can allocate limited inventory to e-commerce warehouses. In pandemic, when brick and mortar stores are not operating at their full scale, there should be some mechanism to utilize inventory and workforce of physical stores. It will give huge advantage to retailer if they can available brick and mortar stores inventory on e-commerce channel as well. But at the same time, retailers need the technology to have the holistic view of the inventory, which is syncing on the e-commerce and brick and mortar stores seamlessly. So what is the solution of these challenges? Okay. Solution is distributed order management. DOM is now became the new normal of the retail industry. Distributed order management has become the center of omnichannel fulfillment. DOM provides platform for effective supply chain orchestration, increase speed and flexibility, and minimize the cost by leveraging the brick and mortar stores network of the retailers. Retailer can enable the physical store, pick, pack, ship, and process return orders of the e-commerce channels. One of the greatest advantage of implementing the DOM is the reduced fulfillment time. The major factor behind why customer go to the physical store is to quickly obtain their required products. If retailers somehow enable to deliver e-commerce orders on the same day, it will definitely increase customer experience uh, and increase the sale as well. By implementing distributed order management, you have the capability to fulfill the orders from one of your brick and mortar stores nearest to delivery location within 24 hours in major cities of Pakistan, and also reduce delivery time by 50 to 70% for the remote areas. As we discussed earlier that 80 to 90% of the online orders are cash on delivery. Early delivery of the orders will reduce the cash collection cycle time and improve the cash flow of the company. When orders are landed from e-commerce, call center, or mobile channel to the DOM, DOM intelligently decides the fulfillment location based on the multiple factor, which includes inventory availability, nearest location to ship the orders, physical store capacity to process the maximum orders in a day, and many other factors. Another important benefit of implementing the DOM is the overall reduction in the cost. By implementing the DOM, companies will reduce the cost of doing business. Companies may opt to close their centralized e-commerce warehouse because now you have every store can be worked as a fulfillment center. You will reduce the shipment cost because you will be fulfilling from the nearest location. And in the same way, the return processing cost will also be reduced because you are not taking back the order from remote areas to your centralized location, but it will be processed through the nearest location. One of the major benefit will be business continuity. We have discussed that due to pandemic or any situation, if the area of the centralized warehouse close, your entire operation, e-commerce operations stop. But by having multiple fulfillment center around the country, it will guarantee that your e-commerce operation will continue. Okay. Now, the seamless connectivity between brick and mortar stores, e-commerce, and 3PL, your third-party logistic partners, ensure that orders are being fulfilled timely. DOM implementation consolidated inventory of physical store, which will be available to sale on e-commerce channel as well. This will increase inventory offering on the e-commerce website and increase the fulfillment time as well. System Limited has developed a solution on Microsoft Dynamics to sync the combined inventory of brick and mortar stores on the e-commerce website. So these are the benefits of the DOM solution. Now I will hand over to Ahsan to continue with the technical solution of the DOM. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Mudasar and Zeeshan, for the great insights on how DOM is helping to accommodate the challenges and how efficiently it is handling the order fulfillment. So, hello everyone again. This is Ahsan Tufail. I am Senior Managing Consultant with Systems Limited, looking after the pre-sales for Pakistan, MENA, and the UK region. So, in next minutes, I'll walk you through the DOM capabilities and then a demonstration inside the application for one of the use cases. So if we see DOM at its core is an intelligent order brokering system that uses predefined set of rules for the order fulfillment. So the days of the linear customer journey are gone. Today it's dynamic, accessible, and continuous. As the customer moves fluidly among the touch points, retailers have to consider the entire ecosystem, how all the pieces fit together and how to move customers through that journey without friction. So a traditional model have been a linear model where we were ordering, we were getting the fulfillment at our locations first and then distribution to the customer locations. But now in the modern network and the modern cycle, so we can get the fulfillment done from either a store location, it can be either over a distribution center. So the customer needs the delivery to be done based on when and where he requires. So there are different options that he has. So he can buy online and pick up in store. He can buy online and return in store. So he can get it delivered to the store. So all these use cases, all this convenience for the customer that gets accommodated by DOM. So what's a conceptual flow of the DOM, how it actually runs and what are the main components. So here we have three of the main layers or the components involved to process and execute the order. First, we have the order sources, then we have the order management system, and then we have the DOM. So in Dynamics 365, commerce and supply chain, all these layers are tightly integrated with one another. They talk to each other and fulfill the customer orders. So in a typical use cases or scenarios, we have order sources where the order is being taken from call center, from mobile commerce, from the brick and mortar store, or from any of the e-commerce sites like Magento or Shopify, WooCommerce, or your in-house custom design e-commerce solutions. So once that order lands up in the OMS as sales order, so these orders are accepted by DOM to be get processed. So what actually is happening in the DOM? So in DOM, we have a set of predefined rules and profiles. Like let's say if an order is coming from that specific customer location and it belongs to that specific category. So what will be the location priority? Either it will be delivered from the north zone of that city or from the east zone. So we can specify all these rules. So we can also specify that what are the offline stores, that is which stores the system will not consider to run the orders. Why? Because those stores will be used only to fulfill the walk-in customers. So once we have defined the rules, that rules will be processed and the system will generate a fulfillment plan. The fulfillment plan will be an updated warehouse that will be attached to the sales order. So let's say if the order was taken from the call center for a specific location to be fulfilled from that location, but once the DOM processes it and it needs to be fulfilled from another location because it was nearest to the customer and because of the availability of the inventory. So the fulfillment plan will generate all those logs. So once the fulfillment plan is is generated, we can review the plan, we can approve the plan and get the fulfillment executed from a specific store or a specific distribution center. And if there are any exceptions like unavailability of the inventory or any other reason, so there will be a next iteration. So in the next iteration, DOM will reprocess it. It will again apply the rules, it will process it and again generate a fulfillment plan. So this is a loop-based cycle where the system keeps on running the batches or the jobs and keep on giving you the optimized results for the fulfillment plan, that how the orders can be best fulfilled. So we discussed mainly about the rules. So what are the rules and how they actually work together in the DOM? So in out of the box application, in the DOM features, we have 7 different type of rules. We'll have an overview of each one of them in a quick go. So the first one is the minimum inventory rule. So a minimum inventory rule, it helps us to define a buffer for a warehouse so you can reserve the inventory for your walk-in customer. So let's say I have a store location in Lahore or a distribution center in Lahore. And for a specific category, I have specified that the 100 quantities should not be considered for the fulfillment by DOM because these are being reserved for the walk-in customer. So if the quantity there is 150, the system or the DOM will only consider the 50 quantities for its DOM processes. So this is a rule that can be applied as per the need. And then we have the fulfillment location priority. So this priority is something like if we have a store location, a different store location in a specific city. So we can define the first when the DOM will run, it will check for the order to be fulfilled from a certain distribution center. And if the availability is not there in the distribution center, then it will go and search for the store. So we can define the location priorities. Then we have the partial order rules. It lets us define that either a line or a sale order can be partially fulfilled from a specific location or not. And then we have the offline rule. In the offline rule, we define certain stores or warehouses as offline. So whenever a DOM processes, it will not consider the inventory on hand from that specific locations. Then we have a maximum reject rules. So whenever the DOM processes an order, and let's say if the order is processed from Johor Town and the DOM says that it can be fulfilled from Model Town, but the Model Town teams, fulfillment teams thinks that they don't have the capability or they won't be able to deliver it in the required timeline. So they can reject the order. So we can define the maximum reject times as well. So the maximum distance rule that is very critical these days as well in every business case as well. So the maximum business distance rule it defines and help us define that one store can reach to what specific location to fulfill the orders. So we can define a maximum distance from the warehouse or a retail store that the warehouse will ship to. So like if I'm located in Defense Lahore and if I have an order to be delivered to Illama Iqbal town, let's say, so my store will check that what's the distance between the customer and the Defense store and the rest of the stores. So it gets fulfilled from that specific distance. And then we have the maximum order rules. So let's say we have a capacity of a certain distribution center or a certain store location that it can process up to 100 orders per day based on the workspace and the capacity and the on-hand inventories. So we can define the maximum order rules. So the system let us define all these rules as per the need of the business, as per the need of the season, as per the need of the category. So we can define these rules, enable them and get them applied. So once we go into the product demo, we'll also see it in detail how it works. So what happens to the DOM rules, how they get applicable into the system? For that, we have the fulfillment profile. So fulfillment profile is a combination of rules, organization scope, modes of delivery, and then your order origin. So once we have set up all these things, all the rules, so we allocate or we configure those rules with a fulfillment profile. And we can also associate the legal entities, the fulfillment groups, or the locations that will be associated with the fulfillment profile. And then we have the different modes of delivery. So let's say we have the next day shipping. We have the traditional shipping methods for the 3PL. So we can define all those modes of delivery with the fulfillment profile, and then the sales order origin, that what is the source of these sales order. So all these things, they work together and work into the DOM processing. So how the DOM processes or how the order is brokered by the DOM. So the DOM will consider the unbrokered lines or the lines or the orders that are created. DOM will not consider the lines that are marked as picked or they are reserved for other wholesale customers to be fulfilled, and order lines not manually excluded, and the order lines that are on hold. So once the DOM accepts and reviews the conditions for all these orders, it applies all the rules with respect to the inventory availability, with the request, with respect to the location priority, with respect to the rejection rules. So all these rules get evaluated and processed, and at the end, the system will generate for us a fulfillment plan, which will have a least distance and the cost to fulfill the order. So this is a short overview of how the DOM actually works conceptually. And now I will just take up a few minutes and I will pull up my application from where I will give you the demonstration of the application itself. Just hold on. Switch back my screen again.
Thank you for submitting a lot of questions and comments. We will be taking these comments and questions at the end of the session. Please go ahead,
Okay,
Jason.
great. So Sadaf, just confirm if you are able to see my application screen.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great. So here we jump into the application, the cloud-based Dynamics 365 commerce environment, where as the role I have for the distribution order management lead. And this is a default out of the box workspace that we have. So we can filter the orders or the results generated by the system based on the date range. And here the system will give me an overview of the tiles with respect to the tiles, that what orders have been marked as exception, what are the unprocessed lines, what are the open lines, and what orders have been marked as exceptions. So if you see over here, so these are the rules and the results. So here the system is telling me that order number 678, there are no quantities available, and the back office need to review this order manually and get it processed. So if we go to the right side, here we have different charts that is presenting us the order exceptions and the orders that have been successfully processed. So over a period of time, the system will tell us how many orders have been successfully processed by DOM. So this is an out-of-the-box workspace that can further be extended as per the needs. And now we come to the very core part, that is the distribution order management rules. So the rules that we discussed in the slides, so they are the same one over here. And the first we discuss over here and that I will demonstrate is the location priority rule. So we can define the rule as per the need of the business. We can enable or disable the rule. We can tell the system what is the applicable dates for this specific rule. And then here we can define the location priority. So for this specific use case that is in the discussion, so we have for all the specific categories, the first priority will be fulfillment from the Houston location. And again, for all the categories that are in this all the products that are in this specific category, so the second priority will be stores that are located in the central DC region. So if I click over here, so if anything is not available or the priority is not from the Houston, so the system will then fulfill the order from these two specific stores. So the configuration and the setup we have in Dynamics to set up the rules is pretty much flexible. So either you can do it on the fulfillment group level. So that's a cluster of your store or your distribution centers. Then you have the individual fulfillment location, which are your retail stores and the distribution center. And then you can set up these rules on complete category, on a product, and on product variant as well. Okay, and let's see what we have in the other rules of the minimum inventory rule. So a minimum inventory rule, it portrays that for a specific fulfillment group and for a specific category. So the five quantity or the five pieces for this specific category will not be considered by DOM. So this minimum inventory level will be maintained on central DC stores for all the categories. Similarly, for all the products that are on the Houston location, a minimum inventory level of 8 will be maintained. So this is the way we can set up the rules as per the need of the business. So let's say in Pakistan, we define these rules that can be based on the seasons, the volumes. and then the winters or the summers as well, where one location you have a lot of orders coming in the north location for the warm materials or for the warm goods. And then similarly, you can define all the other rules based on the maximum allowed orders, that how many orders or how this can be processed. And then you have the maximum distance rule, where you will define that the superstores can go up to a maximum distance of 341 kilometers. So all these rules, as per the business need, they can be defined and enabled, disabled as per the needs. And once these rules are done, so these rules come together in the fulfillment profile. So what's a fulfillment profile? As we discussed earlier, a fulfillment profile will further have itself the rules allocated to it. So one fulfillment profile can be a combination of different rules. For this specific rule, I have enabled this profile and it will run only for the location priority rule. Another rule you can define with a combination of location priority plus minimum inventory levels. So again, as per the need of the business, these rules can be set up. And once the system will process these rules, the system will generate for you the fulfillment plans. So what is the fulfillment plan? So once the DOM runs and it captures the orders and the rest of the information, so it keeps a log at itself and it keeps a status as well. So let's say these are different rules that are already run in the system. And if you see over here, the system has the location fulfillment from Houston, where one quantity will be delivered for this specific variant, and then the other quantity is not available over here. Similarly, if we see some other rules, so there are some other lines and other orders, and system will generate that what locations will fulfill what sort of orders. So this is so far from the setup part, where we define the rules for the system, we define the fulfillment profiles, and then we process the DOM. So if you come to the other screen, let me put a refresh over here, or I'll come here and see a customer order, what customer order we have currently in the system that is coming from DOM, or it's coming from the call center, or it's coming from any of the web locations. So I select the customer over here. I click select over here. So here the system gives me an overview from all the orders that are from a specific customer. And if you see in this grid, we have the sales order number, we have the sales order status, and then we have a field that gets enabled when you will enable the feature of DOM from the features management. So here is the DOM status is not processed, and this order was taken from the Fabricam call center. So what happens next? So if we go and come to the distribution order management, so up here we have the DOM processes jobs. So what this DOM processes job will do? So basically this is pre-configured jobs that we can define that for after a specific interval, these jobs will automatically run. And these jobs will generate the fulfillment plan for you. So for this specific order, if we see, first let us see what inventory we have in the system for this specific order. So if you can just give me a minute. I'll put a refresh over here. So we'll come over here. We'll come to the batch job that's going to process this specific profile. So this can be auto configured as well. So I click on OK to process this specific job. So as per the need of the businesses, these jobs can be configured. So what this job actually does is, so it runs the first iteration of the DOM, it checks the rules, and based on the rules, if a certain order needs to be processed or a certain warehouses and allocations need to be done, the system will process those. And if I go back again to my customer service, and if I navigate to that specific order, so I will see the status of that specific order, that either the DOM has processed it, either the DOM has marked it as an exception, or what has been generated. So if you see over here, the system is telling me for the DOM processes status as successful. And if I go back to this order, so actually in the order there were one line, and the system have generated two lines for me. The first to be fulfilled from the Houston location, and the next to be fulfilled from the Annapolis location. And here if you see the status, it's accepted, and from here it's pending. So what is this accepted and pending? So as Houston is a store location, and we have given, or we have set up the system in a way that the team from the Houston, they can see and set up in the system that how this specific order can be fulfilled and can be delivered. So if I come over here to my other screen, just hold on to my POS. And if I come over here and the POS, that is a Houston store. And if I come to my notification part, so the system is asking me that these are the notifications or these are the orders that will be fulfilled from these specific location of the Houston store. So Microsoft has also enabled these notifications part over here. So whatever orders are coming to your specific retail stores, you will be able to see over here. And now if I come to the fulfillment part over here, so all the orders that are currently generated for this specific store, they will be coming over here. And if you see the last status up in this column is the fulfillment status that is showing as pending. So the system gives us the option that on a retail store, the fulfillment team or the warehouse team, based on their inventory on hand, they can either accept the order and pick, pack and ship the order, or they can reject the order. So in this case, let me reject the order from here. So the system will process the order, ask me for the quantity of the rejection, and it will ask me for a reason that either your inventory was insufficient, understaffed, or you cannot meet the delivery date. So based on my capabilities and the inventory, so I said that I cannot meet the delivery date and I'll press OK. So what the system will do on the real time seamlessly, it will update the back office. Now, if I come over here and put a refresh again, so the system has showing me over here that my order has been rejected. And if I go back to my distribution order management workspace, so for the fulfillment team at the back office, so the system will also show the orders that have been rejected. So they can come over here and see all the rejected orders that have been rejected from certain fulfillment locations. So this was the first iteration. The first iteration where the DOM processed, it broke the order in different parts, and how we can navigate that what DOM actually did. So we can come over here to that specific order and view and click the DOM logs. So the DOM will maintain all the log in the system that how the order was initially brokered, how the system allocated the warehouses over here, and what was the eventual result that one of the stores it rejected the orders. So all the log that what happened to this specific order at any specific stage or any specific time, the system keeps the log within itself so it can be easily tracked. So what we see during the first iteration, we processed the DOM, it generated and allocated the warehouses from where the shipments will be done. And one of the store, it rejected the order. So what the system will do? So in the next iteration, when the DOM will process this order again, and if I click OK. So in the next iteration, the system will see the nearest store location to the customer again. And then again, it will see from which is the most cost effective location for that specific order to be fulfilled. So if I again refresh over here, the system has taken out the rejected order. And if I come back to the customer and see what have happened to the order, I'll come over here. Search for the customer, go to the order. And again, the system have brokered the order for me. And if I go again in the order and see what have been done. So again, the system now has taken up the Houston. He have discarded the Houston because it was rejected from Houston, and it has reallocated that order to be fulfilled from Atlantis. And if I click on the DOM logs over here, so the system will again maintain the complete log for how this order was actually processed, how the DOM rejected, how it was rejected from Houston, and how it automatically get associated with the Atlantis. So this is the way where DOM actually captures all the priorities, all the setups, and it gives us the fulfillment plan that this order will be delivered from which specific location. So the other process from the orders for the pick, pack, and ship, it's the same as it was before. So you can easily see the DOM order status that if it has been placed in exception as well. So what happens to the exception orders is like exception orders that can be treated from the back office where the order can be edited or it can be allocated to any specific location. So the system give us the capability that either we can set it up based on the rules, and then we have a control to accept, reject, reevaluate, rerun, reiterate the orders and get them fulfilled from any of the other locations. So this one was a brief overview of the DOM. There can be many different scenarios as well that you can also test run if you have an existing Dynamics environment that has the Contoso data. So the data and the predefined setups are already there. You just need to enable the DOM from the features management and get it run and configured. So we are less on time, and we'll take up some of your inquiries. So I'll navigate back to my screen, and we will take up your inquiries. A couple of questions we have in the chat here. So the first one is Mudassar, for you, that how Dynamics or DOM can be integrated with Magento and other e-commerce platforms.
Thank you, Ahsan. Uh, Systems Limited has already developed a middleware to integrate any of the e-commerce platform with the Dynamics. We have case studies to integrate Magento, Shopify, Salesforce, which are the tier one e-commerce platform with Dynamics. So with the help of that middleware, we have end-to-end visibility uh, uh, that the orders which are being landed into the Dynamics, the inventory can be synced using that middleware from Dynamics to the e-commerce. So with the help of our commerce link, we can integrate.
Great, thanks, Mudassar. A couple of quick inquiries, two more we have, that how the system captures the location. So like in Pakistan, the Bing Maps or the Google Maps, how they actually work to capture the distance and the locations.
Okay, Hassan. The Dynamics distributed order management basically works on the Bing Map. But what we know that in Pakistan, Bing Map are not as accurate as Google Map. So what we have done that the coordinates of the shipping address are captured either on the e-commerce website using the Google API or in our commerce link middleware. So the coordinated or the latitude and longitudes are captured there, and then we push into the Dynamics. So based on the pushed latitude and longitude, Dynamics calculate the nearest location and process the orders.
Okay, great. And what's the typical timeline for Dynamics Storm to get implemented if like a customer is already using a Dynamics Finance and Supply Chain?
So if customer is already using Dynamics 365, we are confident that within 6 to 8 weeks, we can implement our middleware as well as distributor order management.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mudassar, for the clarities. Some other inquiries we have, we'll get back to you, the audience, in the emails. And if you have something, you can reach out to our team as well. So over to you, Sadaf.
Okay, great. So this brings us to the end of the webinar session. Thank you all for your questions and comments. I would like to thank our speakers and attendees for sparing time out of this hectic routine, and I hope you all have a better understanding of distributed order management. I'm sure you have a lot of questions and you need further guidance in terms of your business needs. And you can always reach out to us, kindly contact us through our sales team, details provided on screen, who would be more than happy to connect you with our experts and provide you with the recommendations and will address your concerns for your business. So once again, thank you very much and hope you all have a nice day. Thank you.